Welcome to the concept of external rate of return. In many of the previous slides, we have talked about the limitations of IRR, and we have certainly come into this conclusion that IRR generally tries to distort the numerical value of the calculation of the cash flows. It can also be said that IRR generally assumes that the reinvestment of the cash flows are done at the IRR or internal rate of return, which is feasibly not always possible. Feasibly, maybe the organization will be wanting to reinvest the cash flows at marginally acceptable rate of return, or the concept of MARR. Most importantly, the calculations of IRR can change from one project to another project, as the projects might have different kind of life or planning horizon attached to it. So the calculation of IRR cannot be error free and cannot be used fully reliably to measure or to compare various projects. Here comes in the concept of external rate of return. The concept of external rate of return is that the net cash proceedings are reinvested at a commonly prevailing rate of interest at which the organization can either borrow or lend the fund in. That particular rate is generally treated as external rate of return, and it is compared to marginal rate of return or MARR in order to understand which project is better or not. Now, the computation of the external rate of return can be done basically in three parts. That is, all the cash outflows, that means all expenditure, are turned into year zero or present worth as far as the marginal rate of return and the number of years. This is step 1. Step 2 is to convert all the cash inflows or the incomes into the end of the period or future worth. Basically, now future worth of all cash inflows divided by the present worth of all cash outflows should give us the formula where it says 1 plus ERR whole to the power n should be equals to the previous mentioned equation that I have already mentioned. So finally, what is the formula? Future worth of all cash inflows divided by present worth of all cash outflows is equals to 1 plus ERR whole to the power n. Now, the decision rule is that if external rate of return is more than the marginal rate of return, the organization should consider the project profitable and should invest in it. And if the external rate of return is less than the marginal rate of return, the organization should not consider the project to be profitable and should not further reinvest in the project. This is the entire concept and the calculation based on external rate of return. Let's consider an example of external rate of return where it says, for an investment proposal, let the I to be 12%, and in this case we have to understand this to be the marginal rate of return or the minimum rate of return, and n to be 5 years. Starting with period 0 or the initial period, the cash outflows are two successive periods. The cash outflows for the two successive periods are 15,000 and 5,000, and for the remaining period the cash inflows are of rupees 8,000 each. We have to find out the external rate of return for the above mentioned project. Coming back to the calculation of the previous mentioned sum, the I has been mentioned at 12%. So keeping that in mind, we need to transfer all the cash outflows into the time 0 or present worth. Turning that means year 0 should have a cash flow of 15,000 which has been mentioned to us, and year 1 should have additional investment of 5,000. So if we consider that 15,000 and 5,000 to be cash outflow, I don't need to mention the negative sign in here. And most importantly, we have to understand that the 5,000 figure is one-off figure which is not continuing in the furthermore periods. So it can be easily treated as future worth which needs to be transferred back to present worth with the help of 12% and 1 year. So the addition actually gives us a figure of the cash outflows to be calculated at 19,464 approximately. And most importantly, in the sum itself, it has been mentioned for the rest of the period the cash inflows are repeated at 8,000. So if it is repeated at 8,000, we can safely say that is an annual worth to us. So if it is an annual worth to us, all the cash inflows needs to be turned into future worth according to the formula of external rate of return. And if we try to change that 8,000 from annual to future, we have to keep in mind that the project has a lifetime of 5 years, out of which 0 and first year has already been transferred into cash outflows. For the rest of the period, that means the year remaining is 4 years and not 5 years. This students have to keep in mind while calculating the external rate of return. And if we keep this in mind and try to calculate the 8,000 figure which has been transferred from annual to future with the help of 12% and 4 years, we get the cash inflows figure somewhere at 38,232 approximately. Now, if we furthermore put those figures into ERR formula, then basically future worth of all cash inflows, that is turning to 38,232 divided by the present worth of all cash outflows. The figure is turning out somewhere to be 19,464 is equals to 1 plus ERR whole to the power n, where n is strictly at 5 years. So if we calculate this back, we get the ERR value somewhere at 14.46%. Now, when we have successfully calculated the ERR value, should the organization invest it in or not, that particular decision needs the consideration or the comparison of the project's ERR with the marginal rate of return of the project, where the marginal rate of return for the project is somewhere coming at 12% and the external rate of return is somewhere coming at 14.46%. If and as we see that external rate of return is greater than marginal rate of return, the project should be accepted and invested by the organization. Coming back with another example of external rate of return. In this investment proposal, two cash flows, which is basically outflows, namely an initial cash outlay of 15,000 followed by an outflow of 7,500 in year 1. These are followed by 5 annual cash inflows of rupees 7,500 each. With given MARR at 20%, we need to calculate or successfully find out the value of ERR. Now, coming back to the calculation of this particular sum, we have to do what? We have to do two things. That is, convert all the cash outflows back into present worth and convert all the cash inflows back into future worth. So, following the first step, if we try to transfer all the cash outflows into present worth, we subsequently get 15,000, which is at year 0, and 7,500, which is a one-off value. We can easily take that value as future worth and convert it back with the help of 20% and 1 year back to present worth. And if we successfully transfer the value, we get the value somewhere at 21,797 approximately. And what has been said in the sum, that these are year 0 and year 1 cash flows for the next 5 years. That means for the next 5 consecutive cash flows, the cash flows are considered to be inflows, where we need to transfer that into future worth with given 20% MARR. So that can be easily treated as 7,500 each to be annual worth, and that annual worth can be transferred into future worth with the help of 20% and 5 years. If we correctly calculate the figures, we somewhere get the figures at 47,648. Now, if we put these figures into the into the external rate of returns formula, we get future worth of all cash inflows divided by present worth of all cash outflows is equals to 1 plus ERR whole to the power n. But in case of number of years, we have to keep in mind that the initial years were the 0 and the first year where the outflows occurred. But for the next 5 consecutive cash inflow figures, that means apart from first year, there are 5 more years to be taken into consideration. So the total amount of n, or the total number of years, basically transfers back into 6 and not 5. This students again have to keep in mind. So if we calculate now, 1 plus ERR whole to the power becomes 6. If we calculate, then the external rate of return comes back to 13.92%, which is considerably lesser than the given MARR, which is at 20%. So the organization should reconsider its decision of investing in the project and should actually stop the investment proposal and discontinue the project, since ERR is lesser than the given value of marginal rate of return. Benefit cost ratio is one ratio used in cost benefit analysis to summarize the overall relationship between the costs and the benefits of any given proposal to the organization. Benefit cost ratio can act as an indicator which generally tells us that if the project which is generally taken into consideration has benefit cost ratio greater than 1, the project is expected to deliver a positive cash flow to the organization. If the benefit cost ratio is lesser than 1, the project costs outweigh the benefits that are there for the organization, and it should not be considered for investment. And if the benefit cost ratio becomes equals to 1, the ratio indicates that the NPV of the expected profits are equals to the cost. That means again the project reaches a no profit no loss scenario. So the organization generally should not be considering the benefit cost ratio if it is equals to 1. Benefit cost ratio can generally be calculated as the ratio of total benefits of the project divided by the total costs of the project. This total benefits and the total costs of the project can subsequently be transferred into either of the three time worths, that is present worth, future worth or annual worth. We in the upcoming few slides we will be trying to understand how to calculate the benefit cost ratio in various kind of manner. The major limitations of benefit cost ratio is that it reduces a project to a simple number when the success of the failure of an investment or expansion relies on many factors and can be undermined by the events that we generally try to overlook in this benefit cost ratio. Simply following this particular rule of greater than 1 means success and less than 1 means failure can generally be misleading and can provide a false sense of comfort with a project. Thus, for me, the benefit cost ratio should be used as a tool which helps us analyze and generally take a decision or an indication to the decision that needs to be taken, but should not be only relied upon when talking in the complex solutions of the difficult projects that happens in the real life of any organizations. Let us consider an example of benefit cost ratio. In this example, it has been mentioned that assuming interest rate to be 10% and the number of years to be 25, should the project be implemented with the given below figures. It has already been mentioned that all the figures are in crores. Cost of land acquisition has been given as 5, civil works has been given as 6, annual maintenance cost is given at 8, annual revenue is given at 15, service tax on revenue is given at 12%, and salvage value has been mentioned as 25. So, if we go on calculate the benefit cost ratio, what we have to do first, we have to practically sum up all the benefits and the cost together. Now, summing up all the benefits together, we have the annual revenue here. But in this case, from annual revenue, we need to deduct the service tax which is implicable on the revenue. So if we see that annual revenue is at 15 crore per year and the service tax which has been applied on the revenue is at 12%. So deducting that 12% from the 15 crore revenue per year, we get the figure at 13.2 crore per year. So we can easily say that this particular project has 13.2 crore per year as annual cash flow, which if we consider calculating break even benefit cost ratio at present worth, we can easily transfer that into present worth, taking 10% and 25 years into account. Coming back to the calculation of the entire cost portion, we can easily see that the initial cost can be taken as the cost of land acquisition, which is at 5 crore, and the civil works, which is at 6 crore. So the initial cost is somewhere coming at 11 crores, and the salvage value is coming at 25 crores. So 11 crore, if we are considering calculating the benefit cost ratio at present worth, 11 crore is a no changer, as the value is already in present worth and we are transferring back the value into present worth itself. Coming back to the salvage value, that's a one-off value which the organization will receive at the end of the period, and at the end of the period always refers back to the future worth. Converting that into present worth with the help of 10% and 25 years, and then adding the value with the annual maintenance cost of 8 crore per year, which is definitely annual, which we need to transfer into present worth with the help of 10% and 25 years. We need to take one thing into consideration, that this cash outflow method here for calculating the cost will take the salvage value as negative but the other two values as positive. So keeping that in mind, we can easily calculate the benefit cost ratio at present worth to be at 1.47 in the ratio. And if we want to cross check our answer and try to calculate benefit cost ratio back into another worth, if we consider annual worth calculation here, we can easily see now that the cost can be generally changed from present to annual, which is at 11 crore. The annual maintenance cost will be added back since it is a no changer, annual to annual transformation, and the 25 crore salvage value will be changed from the future worth to the annual worth with the help of 10% and 25 years. In case of the income calculation, definitely that 13.2 crore per year value which we had previously calculated, from annual to present with the help of from annual to annual, it will be a zero transformation in this case for annual worth. The benefit cost ratio does not change and is furthermore calculated back at 1.47. So the organization, since it is an indicator of the profit, since the organization is getting a benefit cost ratio which is greater than 1, the organization should invest in the project and the project should be implementing. And the most important part here, which I would like the student to understand here, the benefit cost ratio does not change if we try to change benefit cost ratio from one worth to another worth. It generally remains same. Coming back to another example of benefit cost ratio, in this case the project has given the estimates which are below: the cost of construction at 30 crore, the annual expenses at 12 crore, the planning horizon is 25 years, the estimated annual collection of the project is 28 crores, the salvage value is at 10 crores. If the MARR or the marginal rate of return is at 10%, should the project be undertaken or not. This is the decision that the organization is willing to take under benefit cost ratio. In case of solution to the previous mentioned sum here, we are taking in different kind of approach to calculate the benefit cost ratio. Similarly, like in the previous sum, we will be calculating benefit cost ratio initially first in present worth. But here, all the annual worth values, regardless of the income and expenditure, we will take all the annual worth values together and then club all the rest of the values together in the other proportion. So the two annual worth values that are there with us are the annual revenue, which is at 28 crore, and the annual maintenance cost, which is at 12 crore. So if we are considering here the income method, in income method, basically the incomes or the cash inflows are treated as positive and the cash outflows are treated as negative. So if we treat cash inflows to be positive, so basically the 28 crore or the annual revenue earned will be treated as positive, which is annual turned into present with the help of 10% and 25 years. From there, the annual maintenance cost of 12 crore will be deducted, which is also an annual worth, which is basically turned back into present worth with the help of 10% and 25 years. And the next approach that we generally take in is the approach of cash outflow, where the cash outflows or the expenditures are treated as positive, the incomes whereas are treated as negative. So in this case, if we are calculating that the initial investment of 30 crore, which is a no changer, which is a present to present conversion, will be taken as positive, and the salvage value here, which is at 10 crore, which is one of value, which is a future worth value, which needs to be transferred into present worth with the help of 10% and 25 years, will be treated as negative. So if we carefully convert those income and expenditure and put in the ratio of income divided by expenditure, we get the benefit cost ratio somewhere at 4.99. Very similarly, for annual worth calculation, if we consider that, then the 28 crores and the 12 crores initially, which we have taken it as annual worth, which were subsequently the values of annual revenues and the annual maintenance cost, will be just no changer, that will be annual to annual transformation, and the initial cost of 30 crore will be turned from present into annual with the help of 10% and 25 years, whereas the salvage value of 10 crore, which is one of value, will be transferred from future into annual with the help of 10% 25 years. If we calculate it carefully, we will again get the same value of benefit cost ratio coming at 4.99, and hence it also proves that whatever approach that we take, if we correctly calculate the benefit cost ratio for one particular method, for the other method itself, the benefit cost ratio will have the similar kind of value. And for this project itself, the organization should consider implementing and continuing on with the project, as the benefit cost ratio is far higher than that of the required percentage of 1.